welcome, brothers and sisters, spell breakers, generals. Welcome to another edition of EBX Discussion. Thus, EBX and Lord Lamont Show. And salute to my divine children, my biological children, as well as family, brother and sister in the world online. May that great divine just be in our life and protect us. Protection for ourselves and from ourselves, so we never ever become our own worst enemy. And I always and forever will honor thy ancestors, man, those who fought so very hard to get many of us in that great divine space that we are in, that firm foundation, the generals, brother or sister, man, that fought. And I thank them. I appreciate them. I take that very serious, because as I always say, folks, we all gonna be ancestors one day. So salute current subscriber, new subscriber, anybody that view, I salute you and thank you. And those who've been commenting, salute, I thank you and I see you. And just be thankful, man, because it can be challenging in these times. But depends on who we are, where we are, and who we are in the core of our soul. And good day, good afternoon, and good evening, whatever time zone one is in. Like the globe beside my name and Lord Lamont's name, a global, deep meditative protection prayers. That's what one likes to do. And be thankful every day we wake up. Man, I gotta say it. We alive and breathing. Guess what? We're back to conquer another day, another year, another decade, and stomp on the devil's head. And we're going to draw some energy from the brother Tyson, as we see on the banner here. And it was just in one spirit, because like a lot of us do, we have to be, it's great to be positive because it's good for our mind, body, and soul, but also a realist. And we all know Mike Tyson was a realist and was very intimidating, and because of where he came from, he had to be tough. That brother faced some wars. So we can learn from anybody. Of course, Mike Tyson. Of course, many of us have learned from brother Mike. I'm glad. Thank that great divine that Mike Tyson is a part of history and is a true example, and many others like him. And we just speaking on brother Mike today. Came through many wars and battles, not only just within himself, the world period, having the whole world on your shoulders and fighting your own battles within. I'm telling you, that's a strong brother. So we're going to draw energy from the great Mike Tyson, and salute. May the great divine keep him strong and prospering and protected, and those that's connected to him and love him, appreciate him, and honor him. So, got to honor our brothers and sisters that are generals out here, whether they're in our family and our children. Got to honor them. Those who are not in the limelight or live streaming or stars. No, we talking about real authentic generals that the world don't see, but it's fighting like warriors in that spiritual realm that we better see. Real talk, because that's where the real battles are fought, in our psyche and in that spiritual realm. But we got to be aware of these type of things, right? As I love to say, can't break a spell unless we know we're under one. So I got spell breakers on the banner. Be a spell breaker in this life. Fuck the devil. Real talk. Tyson spirit, having a Tyson spirit. Again, we're drawing inspiration and energy from this brother, and rebuke with conviction all day, every day. Not this soft floating on the cloud Christian shit. Those days are over. Again, we know the graceful, loving side of that great divine and Mama Nature, but we also know how powerful it is. Can wipe us all off the planet and start all over. Those two forces have that power. So one better have that appreciation. And I love the analogy. And you might hear they working on the street. I'm in the city, as I said before, another podcast. They still working on the street. So if you hear a little background, that's what that is. But as warriors do, like the brother on the banner here, man, we plow right on through. We don't let nothing stop a divine inspiration to share to the world. But a firm general, like a soldier, actually a general, because that's what Mike Tyson is to this day. And we stomp on the devil, like the image on the banner here. Not saying that the Caucasian guy is a devil, but he's the representation. Is what we do every day to that fucking devil. When we wake up, those who are generals, brothers, sister, in the world online, family. When we wake up, I'm talking about righteous generals that ain't playing. When we wake up, the devil gets scared, and he's see how the dude is on the banner, how Tyson backing his ass up, and he's like, okay. That's how we got to be every day towards that fucking devil, And it depends on who we are, where that devil is in our life, because a devil can be subtle or aggressive, and don't be afraid to talk about it. Fuck that devil, you know what I'm saying? We got to be fierce in this life, especially in these times. We can be humble in areas, but if we are in tune with one's spirit and intuition, we'll know when to be a little aggressive and when to pull back. That's a beautiful balance to have, but firm nonetheless, like Tyson, And Tyson also, I'll tell you another thing that shows courage in this brother. He's able to show his vulnerable side, even though it took him a long time to do that, because Mike was tough like steel for a long time emotionally, but over time, the battles he went through and the emotional lessons and stuff like that. I love hearing him speak. I love hearing him speak, man. Real talk. And, he cried over his coach that helped him. And I love that he can tap into that part of himself. And as we've seen in some interviews over the years, Mike has great intuition, because, we remember I think it was on Ellen, some talk show. We all remember that talk show or whatever when Mike was a little younger and the old Diddler was sitting beside him and he took Diddler's hand and moved it away from him. So yeah, Mike wasn't no punk, real talk, and he ain't to this day. And that's mentally, physically, and spiritually. He in tune with all three. He ain't perfect, but as we all are not. But I thank that brother for being a part of history and inspiring me and so many others, So again, he's our inspiration today. And that's how we got to have that punk ass Matrix and that punk ass devil. Just like the banner here, backing his ass up, having him fall down. Like, you see how Tyson all up on him, like, you want some more? You want some more? I got a lot of more. Like Mr. T said in Rocky. Y'all remember when he was fighting, I think this is was it the first one? Remember they had two matches where he beat the crap out of Rocky. It might have been the second fight they had. We all remember the one with Mr. T. And he said, what'd he say? He said, if you get up, I got a lot of more. If you get up, I got a lot of more. Mr. T used to have some sayings, didn't he? Yeah, that's another brother that was tough. And we do a little background on him. He had his little battles with this weird ass Hollyweird, He had his little, he's another strong brother that came through some wars, I'm talking about in real life, So but I tell you, boy, that damn Hollyweird, holy crap. That's why so much negative shit happening in California. Look at all the shit that has been done on that soil, Just like my son and I was talking about Milwaukee and Chicago. Like, Milwaukee is literally a burial ground, Indian burial ground. And I think, I have to do a little fact checking, but Chicago, a lot of Mexicans were genocide, were genocide, or if I said it right, were an unfortunate part of genocide, So, but I had to do a little fact checking. But Mexicans used to dominate parts of most of Chicago. Again, I don't want to give no wrong information, but it's something like that. But genocide did play a part in that, and that's not just it wasn't just Milwaukee and Chicago. It was New York, Florida. List goes on and on. We was talking about the names of the streets are still. They kept the names but got rid of the people. That shit is insanity, But that's something me and Lord Lamont was speaking on that podcast we did called Ancestral Journey. And boy, was it a journey, man. And speaking of, and again, this is a tribute and this is energy we're drawing from the brother on the banner, who we know is a tough ass brother, who's a force to be reckoned with. So that's what we doing today. We speaking on having a Tyson spirit, Man, we all can be inspired by this brother and rebuke with conviction. No doubt, no worry, nothing. Got to be firm in this time, Pinpoint any challenge we may have, especially ones that's within ourselves, Keep our mind, body, and soul on point. All pistons firing, got to be. And I want to go back. And of course, I'm going to have some summaries. And I always have a hip-hop break. And I want to go back to a historian I wanted to read about. As I said, my last name Farmer, as well as Lord Lamont and, my mom and some others in one's family, because I got different last names in one's family, but Farmer is the root of it, of my family. And I looked up a historian because my son and I, again, we was speaking on his ancestry and ancestors, and we spoke on how his mom's side has Indian ancestry in his mom's side DNA. So it was interesting. It was really fun to speak on that, and the dream he had about the Indian that visited him, and he's never had no dream in no other city or state other than Milwaukee. That's not a coincidence, folks. And again, as I said, Milwaukee is over an Indian burial ground. You can even, that's facts. We even look that up. And he just happened to have a dream on Milwaukee soil. I'm telling you, that's not a coincidence, folks. There's a spiritual realm out there if one is in tune with it, and not taking it for granted. If we do get, intuition and great insights and ideas, the little power we do get from that great divine mama nature, wield it gracefully and righteously, so we can try to be, one can try to be evil and all that. Let me know how that work out. It never works out, life, that full circle, always and forever. Say it together, folks. Always come back around, good or bad. So we better be on that righteous side, or righteous intentions at least, so all right, so I want to read about this historian. And again, my last name's Farmer, and that was my grandmother and my granddad's last name, and my mom. And I got an uncle, 3 uncles with that last name, but it's the root of my family. So I read this before, again, in that Ancestral Journey podcast, Lord Lamont and myself did, and I want to read it again. And I also want to reiterate that book called The Contender, which is about a particular boxer, but it speaks on multiple boxers in it. Thus Mike Tyson, he's in the book too. So I'm going to put a book session in the end screen, and I'm going to put a volunteering session in the end screen, because I'm volunteering. I dropped the kids off this morning. They missed the bus, so I took them to school. I'll be volunteering Thursday, so I'm gonna get back to because I said I did 3 episodes of volunteering podcast. Actually, I've done like 13 or 14 episodes of volunteering, where I just spoke on different experiences I've had with the youth at my son's school. And a salute to Ethan and his siblings. They're doing well, and may that great divine protect their mom. And she's kind of going through some challenges right now, but I get into my deep meditative prayer, and I put it out for everybody, not just for oneself. Global protection. So especially her, she's going through some challenges right now. May the great divine protect her and keep her healthy and whole and pure within, as well as brothers and sisters, family in the world, online. That's how I do it. Yeah, so yeah, I'm gonna put that in the end screen, a book session about the book Contender. And I've started a few pages, but I'm gonna get back into it. And I'll refer some other books that my son and I talked about before, and before this podcast is over, that relates to this book, The Contender. And again, it has Tyson in it and other boxers in the book. It's a good book too, and it's by Robert Lipsyte. So I'll speak a little bit on that. That'll be in the end screen, and an episode of one of the volunteering episodes I did. One of those would be in the end screen. Like I said, I've done about 14 episodes. So, and I've been volunteering about going on 4 years, and I'll be volunteering this week, which will be Thursday. Yep, I spoke to one of my brothers that I talked to up there. Not my biological, but just a brother that works there too. I think he's security or something. So I told him I'll see him this week. So I keep those updated on that, and it's beautiful being involved, giving a righteous impact the best way one can, and let that great divine let us shine. All right, so I want to read about this historian. Like I said, Farmer is my last name, and that is the foundation of my family. Again, that's my grandmother and granddad's last name, my mom, and I got 2 other uncles with that last name. All right, and my brother. Yep, and I got a sister with that last name too. All right, so let's go. Leaders and teachers with a student spirit. A historian that Lord Lamont and I came across that we've never heard spoke on. At least me and him never heard him be spoke about. And he actually was alongside Martin Luther King, but I've never heard of him in the history books. So if others heard, put in the comment if you heard of this brother. But okay, I don't know if I'm related to him or not because I haven't went deeper and checked, but he does kind of resemble a lot of my family members, namely my granddad. He looks like my granddad. He really does. So I'm gonna read it. Okay, let me see. My phone. I hate my phone do this. Okay. Oop. All right, here we go, brothers and sisters. Let me see. I gotta kind of shuffle things around. I got stuff in the way. And all right, let's go. I'm just gonna read a little small summary about him. And again, I read this before, but I just wanted to read it again. His name was James Leonard Farmer Jr., 1920 through 1999. That's another thing that's amazing. That really wasn't that long ago. Okay, is the most prominent historical figure with this name, known as a major civil rights leader who co-founded the Congress of Racial Equality, CORE, CORE, in 1942. Okay, 1942. Okay, let me see. Yeah, he was a key organizer of the 1961 Freedom Rides and a member of the Big Six civil rights leaders, key activists. James Farmer Jr. was born in Marshall, Texas, to James Leonard Farmer Sr. and Pearl Marion Houston Farmer. That was his parents, James Leonard Farmer Sr. And then his mother was Pearl Marion Houston Farmer. I think I'm going to do a podcast on him. I want to go deeper into that because I've never heard of this brother. And we read another summary. He worked alongside Martin Luther King. So, and I've always said, and again, I got to do some fact checking and see if I'm related to him. But from what I've seen a picture of him, and he does resemble some members of my family, mainly, the brothers, of course. He resembles my granddad a little bit. So that was amazing. See the things we come across when we explore and learn stuff about our culture, our black culture, and just things in general. And we seeking and exploring, man, again, it just leads from one divine thing to the next, history and things that we can learn from and maybe help us depending on what we're looking up or exploring, whether it's health, especially the mental health. You can never go wrong going deep into things that can keep us sane, real talk, because man, that's the new currency, sane, being sane, real talk. One better have their mind, both mind, body, and soul right. And I'm not playing, real talk. Fuck the devil. Remember, we got to rebuke with conviction, no doubt, no worry, no nothing. One has to know righteously, not knowing everything, but knowing. All right, not believing, knowing, as I've learned from some great philosophers as I researched on one's own. It's wonderful when we can be a student, leader, and a teacher, but within that core first. Yep, because it always starts with one. Then we reach out to, children, family, significant other, brothers and sisters in that spiritual realm, real talk. So I just wanted to read that and again, look for that the book session in the end screen. Yeah. And I do got some summary breakdowns on rebuking with conviction. And again, we got to say that sometimes. F the devil, If we letting doubt enter our mind, stop that. That's a great divine. We hear that in our spirit. Stop that, So I'm telling you, because I always say this, I say it a lot, but I got to say it. We as humans, sometimes we don't know what's coming down the road, but we locked on to our divine spirit. We can get little anticipation moments, intuition, and man, if we can just shed away distractions, I'm telling you, it's like a superpower, being able to see things. Not that we just, superhero or nothing, but it's just beautiful being vigilant and seeing things. And again, no more woulda, coulda, shoulda, real talk. So, and rebuke. And I say when we rebuke something, remember, this is beyond religion, because I'm not a Christian. I'm not in religion. But I do feel in one soul that there is a powerful force out there that watches over us when we so heartily, fight in this spiritual battle, the unseen battle, real talk, because that's when we'll win the physical automatically. We got the inner core, uh conquered, oh man, the outside will be a breeze. Real talk, like Mama Nature. We just flow, you know. Things are things that I'm telling you, that realm, we'll create that spiritual realm, you know. All right, and when we rebuke something with conviction, you know, F the devil, we rebuke and dissipate it and make it disappear out into the universe where there's no gravity. Because remember, folks, when we rebuke something, we don't want it to go anywhere. You know, we don't want it to go to our loved ones or nothing. You know, we want to rebuke it and make it. I said this before. Actually, I did a whole podcast. Actually, that was the title. Rebuke, dissipate, and disappear out into the universe where there's no gravity, where it can't get to no one. You know, because that's where the most mysterious power resides, in that universe. You know, within ourselves and in that universe. Because again, we can all speculate and calculate, and we'll never really know the true history of what's out there beyond in that universe. We really won't, you know. So, and that's kind of the wonderful dynamics of that great divine. So that force, Mama Nature, we start experiencing things sometimes we might not understand, not right away at least, but we will later on, because great divine and Mama Nature is all about what? Timing, you know, divine timing. That's why it's important to appreciate time and don't waste time or money or resources, or, you know, and always meditate as much as we can and get to ourselves, you know, keep ourselves sane, strong, and firm and ready. Because when we stay ready, mind, body, and soul, we don't have to get ready, you know. Fuck the devil, and we'll back that fucking devil up like Brother Tyson is on the banner here. Got that devil begging, like, you want some more? You want some more? All right, leave me and my loved ones alone. Real talk. That's how we gotta be. Again, not this floating on the cloud Christian shit, soft shit. No. Yep, it can't be. And I've said before, and I had to learn this. We can't become. It's good to be spiritual and locked on to our spiritual selves, but don't be so spiritual we become stupid. You know, we gotta be realists too. Real talk. So we learn this on this walk. And we still be humble and enjoy and laugh, and we're not serious all the time, but just not stupid either. That's the main thing. And being spiritually strong, mind, body, and soul, see, hear, and feel in that wonderful psyche. You know, the 7 senses is the most important senses in our life. Again, the mind, body, and soul are seeing, hearing, and feeling, and where all the battles are conquered at. In that psyche, baby. If you can conquer them battles in that psyche, I'm telling you, nothing on the outside can fuck with us, ever. But it's a practice, and we have to stay on it. Because, as I said before, and many of us say, I say it again, new level, new devil. Yep. And again, paranoia is a thing of the past. Now we aware now. We warriors out here. We generals. We ain't taking no shit, you know. Let nothing take away our joy, our happiness, and just knowing that we're a human being and not a zombie or no fucking robot. Real talk. And stay connected to our loved ones so we can share that vibration to them, so they can know the power they possess. You know, again, children, family, significant other, brothers and sisters in the world, online, a global perspective. That's how we do it, you know. Above and beyond these little spaces, the evildoers try to keep us in, and the evil ones know who they are. We ain't got to split hairs. They know who they are. Real talk. So, and I'm talking about those on the outside of our circles, you know, because again, I consider myself an ally, and I know who the allies are. I know who's for me and who's against me. You know, that's a beautiful thing, you know, even those I may not have ever met, but I know they my ally. You know, I'm talking about whether in the world, online. It's beautiful. When we know who the real enemy is, and I'm talking about those who so-called orchestrate the matrix, those evildoers, those are the real enemies. Not our teachers, not our families, not our children, and not our brothers and sisters in our circle. No, the real enemies. Those who trying to fuck this world up. Them. That's what I'm talking about. So focus on that. And make sure we don't have an enemy within. You know, real talk. That has to be conquered. Has to be. Have to master oneself. You know, there is no negotiation, period. You know, and I was meditating this morning. I was like, if I was like an irresponsible person and didn't give a damn, I would not only would I affect myself, but I also would affect those I'm connected to. It's a ripple effect. Some people don't think about that. Man, that toxic behavior shit, you affect others also, whether it's far or near, So that's the power of that great divine, Mama Nature. When we get into meditation, it'll teach us, those two forces will teach us and show us these things. But we have to be in the space to be taught and be receptive and receive righteous things that will benefit us for life and help others along the way. Real talk. So I'm thankful, man. Be thankful if great divine puts great accountability in our soul, because that's a great weapon against that fucking devil. Accountability, brothers and sisters. Learn it, know it, embrace it, And we can't worry about what person, place, thing thinks of us, especially if we're righteous. If we're not hurting ourselves or hurting no one else. Keep on plowing through as we do, as generals and spell breakers, Rebuke with conviction, Having a Tyson spirit. It's beautiful when we can do that. So again, Tyson is our energy today, because again, just think of the wars this man has fought and won. Real talk, times we thought, things where things were getting ready to go south for Tyson, he always bounced back. He just, man. So we can learn a lot from this brother, and I'm sure a lot of us have. Real talk. All right, so I'm gonna get to this hip hop break, and I'm gonna come back with some summary breakdowns on rebuking with conviction and saying F the devil. I'm gonna break down some summaries, get it in our subconscious, while we continue having a Tyson spirit and let nothing stop us from doing anything righteous, whether it's small or big. Again, let that great divine and Mama Nature let us shine in due time. Keep pressing on toward our righteous goals. When the time is right, then if the whatever we doing or whatever it is, this is an open field. Just, man, stay with it. It could be a blessing right in front of us or around the corner. Stay with it, because we want to live graceful, golden lives. Let's be known for the righteous impact we left. It's beautiful. All right, so I'm gonna get to this hip hop break, and I'm gonna reiterate the book Contender and name some other books that Robert Lipsyte wrote, and he wrote some very good books. And this book Contender, I guess it was a tribute to, it says, to my mother and father, or let me see, I thought I saw that. Yeah, it says for my mother and father. Okay, so whoever he was writing about, and I do believe it's a young brother. Yeah, but again, it's a lot of other fighters mentioned in the book. All right, so let's get to this hip hop break. Salute to Mike Tyson, man, for the energy. I felt so inspired when I saw this. It's wonderful when we get that little burst of flame of an idea in our soul, and we just run with it. One moment we sitting and meditating, next moment we expressing our passion and whatever that is. All right, the first song is Thanking Thee, and the next one is Standing, and that was a tribute to me and Lord Lamont, but that's for anybody still standing. Just think about it. I always say, the fires we blaze through, man, and we still standing today. And again, as Lord Lamont and I say, we don't do coincidences. We're here for a reason and a purpose, but only we know what that purpose is. But overall, thank that great divine every day we wake up. I'm serious. I'm so serious. Yep. And I do want to, before I get to this song, I want to reiterate the two individuals I said had a heart attack that I work with. They're both doing good. It was two individuals that had a heart attack in the same week. So ponder that, And I always say, when we locked on to our spiritual selves, we'll see things in that spiritual realm, signs, synchronicities, deja vu, and dreams. Now, thus, the heart attacks I just spoke on, so that was a sign. So I started cutting back on things. That's things I don't do anymore. And you begin to take life serious. If we pay attention to our body when it speaks to us and signs around us, just things that great divine will bring subtle or aggressive, but we can't be wrapped up in no chaos and toxic shit. We'll never see the great part of the benefits of being an upright human being, conquering that flesh, and then the righteous spiritual will come. So and you start feeling better. The more we do it, the more we create positive habits, man, you start feeling better. And then the results, not only in ourselves, also what we share to others, because that's the beauty part of life too. When we help somebody and they take it and they're doing better and they passing it on, because that's how it's supposed to be. Taking that positive torch, pass it on to another general and they pass it on and just keep it going. So keep on thanking thee. Be back after this.
Gee, I'm thanking that great divine for one's children and my family and brothers and sisters. I'm thanking thee, gee, for being up in me, protecting children and my family. Gee, I gotta thank thee, gee, for being up in me, protect my children and my family. Man, I gotta thank thee, gee, for being up in me, protect my children, I am my family, gee, I gotta thank thee, that great divine, for being up in me, protect my children and my family, gee, being up in me, and I stay up on these songs, this how I stay strong. I always stay connected to the divine zone. I never ever stop and hip hop. I love to drop. Keep that love in my spirit. Keep it alive. I'm moving on. And yeah, living long. And we do this and stay around. And we own. And when we righteous in the belly of a soul. I want that for my family and my sisters and my bros. Good energy, man. Gotta keep it in thee. And I'm thanking great divine for being in me. And making me never stop, giving others their props and good energy, gotta keep it alive. Man, I'm thanking thee, for being in me, protect my kids and my family. While we out here in these streets, brothers and sisters, man, I'm thanking thee for everything, man, I've been through. That's why in this life, generals don't lose. No, my warriors and my soldiers are here. We never standing down. And godly people here, and we still around. And we never stop, and I always drop, and I do this a lot. And I love the bottom, as I say, F the top. Good things, and I'm stay wise in this life. And I never repeat toxic shit twice. Yeah, let's go. Thanking thee, G, for being up in me. Protect my children and my family. And while we out here in the streets, brothers and sisters, man, I'm thanking thee for being up in me. Protect my children and my family. While we out here in the streets, great divine.
Real talk, man. Whoo, and that's for everybody. Like I say, a global meditative prayer. That's how I do it. I don't do the little superficial, religious prayer. No, I'm serious about that now. As me and Lord Lamont discuss, and I always say, great divine, Mama Nature, the two most powerful forces we'll ever experience. So I don't look at it as no light switch. No. You gotta put that divine spirit in everything. Up times, down times, happy times, sad times. Again, I told Lord Lamont, don't wait till things going bad. Stay on it. Don't wait till things go bad and then, now I got to do something. No, always be in a state of solutions and ready for things that may come, because this life can be very, very unpredictable. Real talk. So you gotta keep things like that in our mind. But again, not always intense, serious. Have fun, joy, because that's a part of the balance. Got to know we're human, laugh sometimes. Have some release. Me and Lord Lamont, we do that too, Get out in nature. All the wonderful things that, keep us healing and getting and staying, the warriors and generals we have become. Real talk. Stay on it, All right. Standing. And this is a tribute to all, but kind of a tribute to me and Lord Lamont, because he was working on this beat to do a song on it, but I did it. He never got to it, but it's a tribute to me and him. So be back after this. Thank that great divine that we still standing, brother, sister, family in the world online. Let's go. Back after this.
EBX, Lord Lamont still standing. Let's go. too smooth. No demanding. Yeah, I'm still standing. EBX, Lord Lamont, no demanding. We too smooth. Still standing. Yeah, and no demanding. EBX, Lord Lamont, still standing. Too smooth. No demanding. We're still standing. And a rockin', shockin', and I love this thing they call hip hop. You know I love the bottom, and I don't see the top.
No.
I stay buried, I bind up in my soul, and keeping us here and stayed up on the go. And man, I'm trying to make us see and all reach and make it in this life, in this mind. We can be free with the state in the place, making sure that we on the way. Positive things harboring within, so I can say, man, get it out within. And I reach out, this good things, divine words coming out my mouth. Yeah, man, I thank my sons and my daughters too, making sure my family protected and we make it through. And I never stop here, and yeah, we stand. We ain't gotta force or be in demand. We just let the force, work through me and you in this life, and we can win. Never ever be confused. Woo! Still standing. And no demanding. EBX, Lord Lamont, still standing. We're too smooth. No, still standing. And I stay fierce on this mic, making sure I keep doing this here in sight. Gotta be at peace, righteously, never stop. Ain't no devil ever get the E. I make a show I see in these streets, protection for me, my family, and I never stop. I will always drop it in this life. I never flip flop, no twist. I don't see no quit. Man, I'm thankful for what I got. That's this gift.
Still standing.
Still standing. EBX, Lord Lamont, still standing. No demanding. We're too smooth. Still standing. EBX, Lord Lamont, still standing. No demanding. We're too smooth. Still standing.
Woo, man, that's what Mike Tyson. You know, look at him on the banner, still standing. No demanding. Salute, Mike Tyson. Man, fought wars in life, boy. I tell you, strong brother. Yep, and be thankful, great divine man. Put that strength in us, to deflect all things that we don't need in our mind, body, and soul. Yep. Now I got to get back to the old mojo. Y'all know I like to rhyme. Yep, and get back to this summary. Let me see. All right. Now we're gonna get back to this summary, and let me see. I want to stop on this book called The Contender, and again, thank Mike Tyson for the energy that he gonna be a part of history. Real talk. So we're gonna get back into having a Tyson spirit, man, where nothing can fucking stop us. Real talk. And rebuke with conviction. F the devil all day, every day, because it's a practice, Remember, new level, new devil. So stay with it, spell breakers. All right. Don't give that devil don't let that devil get into no crack. We can have no cracks in our armor at all. None. Not even a little. I'm serious. All right. So let's get into this book, The Contender by Robert Lipsyte. When I get into it, I'm just gonna, again, it's gonna be in the end screen and a volunteering episode I did. All right. Let me see. I do want to read. Let me see. No, I ain't gonna. I'm gonna read some books he got, but it'll be I am gonna start doing these book sessions, but I'm not gonna get into one of the chapters today. But I'm gonna read some books. Let me see. Robert Lipsyte. He wrote a book called The Contender, which will be that's the book I'll be reading in the next book session that I'll be having. And I've done about 10 episodes of that too. Yeah, I've done a lot of them. All right, I'm gonna read these books Robert Lipsyte has, which is some good books. Okay, remember the book, The Contender, is about a boxer and many boxers in that book. All right. Another book he has called The Brave. Another one, The Chief, Warrior Angel, and One Fat Summer. And I bet those are all good books. So this dude was a good writer. And reading is good because you get into it, because you imagine things in your mind. And it's just better. And a lot of readers will tell you that. And again, on this Contender book, he said, for my mother and father. So look for that. Look for a future book session. And that's the book I'll be reading. Again, The Contender. And salute again. Rest in peace and in power to James Leonard Farmer Jr., who I may be related to. I got a fact check. And he transitioned in he lived from 1920 to 1999, if I'm correct. That's what I'm reading. Yeah, it would say from 1920 through 1999. He was the most prominent historical figure. Yeah, wow. And I'm wondering if anybody know about this guy. I never heard of him. You know, I might be related to him because, again, the picture I'm looking at, it resembles brothers in my family. Real talk. All right, so yeah, from what I'm reading, he was a tough brother. Yeah, so all right, we're gonna get into some breakdowns. And then remember, folks, when we rebuke, we make it dissipate whatever negative energy that is. Get fucking rid of it, you know, and make it disappear out into the universe, away from all of us, you know, from the whole world, out into the universe somewhere, you know, because when we rebuke something, that negative energy has to go somewhere. So we don't want it to go to someone else we're close to. You know, we got, again, disappear out into the universe. Now, this is my theory, you know. So I'm just sharing with others just to keep us more powerful. Again, not just floating on the cloud shit. You know, we got to be firm. Because, again, the devil don't give a damn if we're hard, soft. It doesn't matter. It just wants that soul. And we'll get it any way it can. So we have to be firm out here, especially spiritually. That unseen world. Can't be afraid of it, you know. All right, let me see. All right, here we go. I got some summary breakdowns. Okay, the first one, rebuking bad things, whether they, okay, let's go back. Okay, here we go. Rebuking bad things or evil things or toxic things, whether they are actions, whether they are terrible actions in others, internal negative thoughts, or destructive behaviors, which I spoke on earlier in the podcast. That's why I say it's important to study. If we want to study human nature, please, folks, start with ourselves. You know, make sure we right. You know, real talk. And again, this for me too. All right, we have to be right within our core. There's no negotiation with that. You know, if we don't have any handicaps and we're able to, you know, because great things will come. Because ripple effects is automatic. That's automatic in that spiritual realm, whether it's good or bad. All right. So thoughts or destructive behaviors is primarily seen in a spiritual context as a tool for restoration. Let me see. We talking about rebuking. Rebuking is primarily seen in a spiritual context as a tool for restoration and growth, while often uncomfortable. A well-placed rebuke can serve. Let me see. Yeah. Okay, let me go back. I want to go back up because I think it's important. Okay, internal negative thoughts or destructive behaviors is primarily seen in the spiritual context as a tool for restoration and growth, while often uncomfortable. A well-placed rebuke, you know, disappear, get the fuck away from us and our loved ones, you know, can serve as a life-saving intervention. Sorry. And yeah, that's why you hear many of our great philosophers say reason with oneself as much as possible. That's how we keep ourselves intact, mind, body, and soul, and then we can help our loved ones and rebuke things along the way, because challenges will come. Got to be smart. We got to know challenges may come. It'll keep us anticipating it and ready. All right, personal and relational benefits. Promotes spiritual maturity. Receiving a rebuke helps individuals align their lives with higher moral standards and exposes blind spots that may not see themselves. Yeah, blind spots. Yeah, that's why we have to study any area we're having challenge with, whether it's especially within ourselves. Again, we are the center of that realm, of our realm. All of us are the center of our realm. So what we harbor inside depends on us. It always go back to know thyself. And that's on the walls of Kemet. That's not on the walls of Kemet for a reason. Again, our pharaohs and Nefertitis were very intelligent. Ponder that. All right. And this is way before. Way before we knew about technology, because technology been around. It's just new to us. You know, some people don't realize that. Some do though. All right. We're still talking about rebuking that fucking devil. Here we go. Strengthens relationships, direct and honest confrontation, open rebuke is considered superior to hidden love because it addresses grievances before they grow into deep roots of bitterness. And that goes back to thoughts we hold within, whether we hold it for a person, place, thing, eventually it will come out, especially in these times, because we in the age of information and people are not dumb anymore. So you gotta think about that. People are intelligent. They are. All right. We got a lot of toxic characters, but we also got a lot of warriors and generals out here that's finding out truths about individuals every day. All right. Develops character. I was just speaking on that. Heeding correction is a mark of a wise person, leading to increased understanding, overstanding, or understanding, honor, and a reputation for being responsible or accountable. Prevents further damage. Again, that goes back to whatever challenge we have, and it depends on who we are, what journey we're on. The most important things to pay attention to are the subtle things, whether it's in ourselves, through person, place, thing. Okay. Prevents further damage. Just as a pilot needs course. I just made a video about staying on course. Wow, how ironic. Just as a pilot needs course corrections to avoid a crash, individuals need rebukes to stop destructive behaviors before they lead to severe consequences, such as poverty and shame. And that can be within oneself, because you can be impoverished just in your spirit, let alone the world. Again, folks, that circle will always come back to thyself. All right. Let me see. Got one more summary. We're going to break it on down. Let me see. Let's go. Spiritual and psychological benefits. We're still talking about rebuking that fucking devil. All right. And anything toxic. Okay. Clears the conscience. Clears the conscience. Speaking up against something wrong or evil or rotten. Or anything that's not good for humanity and our culture. All right. Clears the conscience. Speaking up against something wrong, evil, or rotten allows us to maintain integrity, ensures us to do not share in another's toxic behavior, by remaining silent and observant, but firm, not naive, just not getting sucked in to toxic things, whether it come through person, place, thing. All right. Rebuking also combats internal negativity. That goes back to ourselves. Again, it always goes back to knowing thyself. Rebuking or taking captive bad thoughts helps break cycles of fear. Suicidal. Let me see. Ideation. That's what it says. IDEATION. I've never said that word. And this right here. And we just think about it. We around people sometimes have things like this in their spirit. Let's go again. Combats internal negativity. Rebuking or taking captive bad thoughts helps break cycles of fear, suicidal, ideation. I don't know. I guess, forgive me if I'm not reading that right. Ideation. Okay. Or guilt by replacing them with truth and spiritual authority. Got to be firm. Again, F the devil. Acts as a deterrent. Deterrent. That's another word I never said. Acts as a deterrent. DETERRENT. Okay. Public or firm rebukes can create a healthy sense of accountability within a community, encouraging others to avoid similar pitfalls. Yep. Again, that goes back to how our behavior will affect others, whether it's subtle or aggressive. Whatever we harbor inside, it will come out eventually, whether it's good or bad. But it's great when it's positive, and it's good and great, and we've learned from the woulda, coulda, shoulda syndrome. It's the most beautiful thing in the world. And we fight through these battles, these wars, these so-called wars, and we conquer them just like Mike Tyson did. So thank those for coming in, current subscriber, new subscriber. Anybody that view, I salute you and thank you. And Just wanted to share some energy with the listeners, and of course, share some energy of Mike Tyson and learn how tough this brother was, mentally, physically, and spiritually. He's a strong dude. He really is, and I thank him. I thank that great divine for making him a part of history, because he's a strong brother. He's a warrior, and he doing great right now today. So fought through a lot of battles, man. Real talk. So this brother can be an example. Never say we can't do something. If we're able, we're healthy. We can do anything, especially righteous. We need to do or have to do when we put our mind to it, our mind, body, and soul to it, and we all in. And the Pistons are firing. And we saying F that devil on the regular, and call down protection from that great divine. Do this on a daily, on ourselves and our loved ones and our circle, So, and look for the signs, synchronicities, and dreams, so we can stay powerful in this life, and somewhat anticipate the future, because that's a beautiful space to be in. But it takes, again, a lot of deep meditative prayer and reasoning with oneself, and not getting triggered by everything. Got to get those things away from the world just for a little while. Be of the world and never in it. Real talk. I'm telling you, be amazed the things we'll see that'll come along our path. As I said, great divine also, and Mama Nature. Always bring a warrior along our path, and that could be brother, sister, family, could be a child, in the world, online. It just depends on us. If we're in that space and we're carrying that Tyson spirit. So that's what we're speaking on today, having a Tyson spirit. But man, I'm telling you, Mike is intimidating, boy. But again, I like that he has courage to tap into his vulnerable side. That's what make him a strong brother. That's what make him complete as a strong warrior brother. He also can tap into his vulnerable side too. So salute to that brother. And he's our inspiration today. As I said, got to back that fucking devil up, just like he doing that other boxer on the band here. See how he backing his ass up? That's how we had the devil. Every day we stay on it. Stay vigilant, but also have fun with our loved ones, and laugh and release too, because it's good for our immune system. Release, make sure we have less stress and no stress at all, because stress is a killer. It ain't no joke. Don't underestimate the power of stress. It's like a virus. Real talk. It can work through your body, and telling you. And then because stress, if you look it up, and these are facts. This ain't, I've looked it up in the past. Stress, when our body is consumed with stress and things that can break our spirit down, and we're giving in to wrong shit that we know ain't right, we're just an open wound for anything toxic to come. And that can be spiritually, it could be physical, mental, so don't be a open wound for that fucking devil. We'll be strong generals out here. Keep that shield up. Because again, when we're doing wrong shit, if we're not accountable and doing toxic things, we not only affect ourselves, we also affect others we are connected to, whether we see it right away or not. So again, it's not about being this upright, holier than thou person. No, it's being accountable and not affecting others. Real talk. And I'm telling you, when we see the results, how many of us have said in our life, man, I'm glad I didn't do this. I'm glad I stayed with it. That's a wonderful feeling. It really is. So that's the feeling we want in life. And then share it to others and generate generals, younger or older, brother or sister, or in our family, wherever part of the world we're in right now. Global perspective. So stay strong, stay generals, and stay the spell breakers, and keep backing that devil up. Don't stand a chance against a general that has been practicing, righteous things. Decades, especially those who've been on this planet for a while, know what it is. Devil can't do shit to us. We got this. Great divine got us protected, and our loved ones. Real talk. That's why I say call down protection so much. I mean that. Yep, we gotta have that kind of energy. Can't mess around in this dynamic, bizarre world we're living in. So stay close to our loved ones. Stay loving and laugh when we can, and listen to some of our righteous comedians out here, because you got comedians that be dropping them jewels too. But listen to those who are funny too. So, cause again, that's a part of balance. But stay firm and ready. And keep that protection up around ourselves and loved ones, brothers and sisters. And, rebuke with conviction. F that devil. Remember, dissipate, disappear, up into the universe. And again, salute to Mike Tyson for being a part of history. I thank him. And again, may that great divine keep protecting him and anyone in his circle that loves and cares about him. Protect him also, his family, and just keep that protection around him and others I have met along the way, as well as my family and children. Keep us strong. And, and we be like this brother on the banner, We never lose that Tyson spirit, Stay strong and firm. And the warriors, that great divine has called many of us to be, Brother, sister, family, in the world, online, We never lose something that we all can have. We can learn from this brother on the banner. Man, it's lovely when nothing can't fuck with us. You know why? Because we are now having, we now got, or a lot of us got, and a lot of us have learned from this brother. I'm telling you, you can listen to him, you be fired up. And then, and we get that righteous torch like Tyson did and pass it on to others. So, we all can have a Tyson spirit, So stay great, stay strong, stay prospering, and stay vigilant, stay happy too. Again, have fun, but stay great and stay the generals. The great divine has called all us to be. Salute. Nothing is more fierce than having that Tyson spirit. Thank you, Brother Mike. Thank you. This has been brought to you by Mama Nature and that great divine. Salute.
Thank you.